23rd, Veterans Day, and it's coming another cold day in the Midwest. Expecting some snow. Shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully it won't stay long. Anyways, world's going completely mad right now. War drums are really beating up pretty high. They got Russia's to eastern Ukraine, but they've got more tanker divisions, airborne divisions ready to go, and ready to go into Western Ukraine and looking at a couple of days. Of course, they've been keep saying this. The stock market's already down 355 points, but I'm waiting for the big really go on and hammer it. Your stock market dropped 5,000 points in 1 or 2 days, 10, 15,000 points. And also to a bunch of billionaire oligarchs in Russia have already lost over $30 billion a couple of days. So stuff's getting hit. Inflation really out of control. As with war drones beating NATO jets on standby, they're moving more troops over from the U.S. into Europe, Albania, Romania, Poland, and some other areas, I guess. And they didn't really say explicitly what troops are moving over there. They generally don't, unless it's a mainline divisional unit. So right now you got a lot of stuff cranking out right now, and this could get and so who knows where it's going to go. The market effects are going to be pretty bad. The market shocks, like I was saying, the war shocks. California today in the Southern California today went over $6 a gallon. Excuse me. So stuff can get pretty bad pretty quick. And inflationary stuff is the inflationary stuff's really gone through the roof. As a lot of the big chains, Walmart, Kroger, Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, a bunch of other places, or prices are going to go up. Already some companies being nailed for gouging. Supply problems keep getting worse. Keep getting backed up. So you got a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. And also, too, builders still can't get enough stuff. Now, they had an interesting article, basically, Zillow, which I don't follow too much on Zillow, but they did have an interesting little article piece saying there's over 146 cities in the U.S. where the average price is over $1 million. That's bad. Right now, there's still a record number rate. This was just out on Bloomberg or Fox Business. I can't remember which one I saw it on. Anyways, and they were talking about that. Even though they're at 4% interest, which is still incredibly low, the mortgage tapped out. They're looking at still around 400 the average as a price, which is just blowing the middle class out of the water. And especially in the East and West Coast. Excuse me. Anyways, and I don't have a cold, but anyways, even though it's cold here, it's only 16 degrees where I'm at. So anyways, these price shocks are really, really bad, and the war shocks and a lot of the stuff could really hit pretty bad. And so who knows where this is really going to go with all the deployment of troops and the Brits deploying more weapons over than we are to the Ukraine, and you have all this, and they're talking could next few days or whatever, that Russia's going to go for a full invasion of Western Ukraine. Who knows where it's going to show up and what's going to happen. So I'm just bringing this stuff out to you because it shocks on the market. But one thing will do, going to force the rates up a hell of a lot quicker, and they're going to start doing it without these open market committee hearings. And we've seen it happen before. And the rates, before you know it, will be 4, 5, 6, 7%, kind of back where it used to be in the 90s, and it could be even higher. And gas prices, I think it goes $7 a gallon. They're talking about because of war shock, without the Stream 2 pipeline, it just gets set a shock in the energy prices globally, and it could go to $150 a barrel, 200 a barrel. It could be $7 a gallon. But the other countries, they use liters, and liters less than a gallon, and that shock could go up pretty high too. Especially if you live in Mexico or going south of the border, even in Europe, because they use liters. So I mean, all this stuff can have a major effect, but this affects everything. And also too, the DTI problem, the debt to income ratio, since inflation keeps going up, that's eating into people's checks. And that being the case, it's going to be hard for people to buy. I mean, cash is still the king dog, but it's still going to be harder to finance deals. And a lot of real estate agents and mortgage brokers are going to get royally screwed because, and then, if you're a seller and you have a buyer buying, they're going to get screwed because they can't afford it. So here's something you need to think about. If you're a seller with a lot of equity, when this bubble is going to pop here soon, if you got a lot of equity, consider giving the seller doing a 20% or 25% carryback, and do the carryback and just charge a 5% interest rate or whatever. Do it for a 5-year note, collect some interest on it, even though you'd be in second position, but at least you give a chance to refinance, and you allow somebody to get into your property if you don't need all the money at one time, and collect some interest payments. And when they refinance in a couple of years down the road, a few years, you get the rest of your money out, and you made some extra money on it. So if you're a real estate agent, even if you're a mortgage broker, not so much a mortgage broker, but a real estate agent, make sure you got a mortgage broker that knows how to understands carrybacks and understands the non-prime and the subprime type of deal. And this is something for you to think about. Let's see here. And this is something to think about. Now, I just want to say this. I got this alert today from a mortgage funding company, because I always get them because I still do commercial loans. No doc rental loans. They do hard money. So a no doc rental loan, you can do a fix and flip loans starting at 7.25%. And that's up to 90% property purchase amount, 100% financing on rehab costs, 12 to 18 month only, no prepayment penalty, that's interest only, no interest charged on unused rehab funds, which is cool. It's available for multifamily bridge loans up to $5 million. Okay, rental loans starting at 4.375, which is pretty low. All loans 30-year term, 7-1-year arm, 30-rate fixed, up to 85% LTV. It'll do single family to 4 units. Also do loans available for 5 or more homes if you own. Interest-only options, no prepayment penalties. So, and this is basically hard money. They got low rates, and I wanted to put that out there to everybody today, because I can get you scored away on something like that if you need it, because I just got this only an hour ago. So it's one of these brokerages. So there's no doc loans on that for non-owner occupied properties. So that's pretty cool. I've talked about it, but I just got the new stuff and told you some new stuff. I just wanted, that's a news flash for you. Just go to nickforecast.com, email me, I'll get you scored away, or go to Facebook at Nick's Forecast, and I can score you away. Anyways, so the war shocks are going, the inflation's going up, gas is going up. Gas prices could really go through the roof, right? Even where I'm at in the Midwest, Ameren, who's a player in the Midwest, a lot of people on the coast, like if you have PG&E or Seattle Electric or Puget Sound Energy, PSE. I mean, what happens is going to happen all over the United States. Prices are going to go up here real quick, and they're going up next week like 10%, 7 to 9%. It's going to be probably 9 to 10% up on your bill, and it's going to happen all over the U.S. Some places are going to be a lot worse than where I'm at. So, anyways, you have this going on, inflationary efforts, basically just inflation, basically jawing. And so this is pretty bad, because the DTI, like I'm discussing now, the debt to income ratio. Basically, if you're trying to buy a house and you're doing an FHA or a Fannie Mae or another type of 3% program or 5% down, basically even the zero down, you can get better, higher DTI. On a basically a VA loan, you get higher DTI, FHA too. Fannie Mae 3%, and not so much. But if you're going to 50% DTI of your check, you know what I mean? And sometimes you can go to 55, you can't get them anymore. You used to have loans back in the day, subprime loans I used to do, where I could go to 65% DTI, basically, and that was way out of the knocking weighing it out. I'm talking way out of the ballpark on that. But now you could probably get on a zero down loan, you might get 55 maybe. You used to be able to get 60, but not so much anymore. But 50, 48, 45, it'll be somewhere in there. But you got to think about that because the inflationary rates have gone up, and all the food prices, gas prices, this, that, they've all gone up. So it affects your if you're a buyer to buy, because the bubbles on the East and West Coast are going to pop soon. Right now, like I was saying yesterday, Miami area, Tampa Bay area, and basically all Phoenix area down into Scottsdale are the hottest markets in the last 3 months. Their price have gone up 20%, but it's not going to last forever, because the war shocks, when it happens, because it's going to happen, it's gonna pop a lot of the stuff, and also to the inflation going sky high the way it is, and they haven't raised the rates enough to control anything because there's too much money out there. What will happen is that's going to screw up the DTI. So if you're a seller and you have a lot of equity, like if you have a small mortgage or not that big a mortgage, you got equity, and right now you can get away with it. But when the balloon pops here soon, which is going to, you need to consider doing a carryback, a seller carryback. Do 25, do 20, 25, 30%, because there's subprime funders out there, non-prime, excuse me, it's this new stupid term, and non-conforming type of loans where there's funders out there, mortgage brokers have some access to them if they're scored away that they can fund it. So if you're a seller, that's go. Real estate agent, you need to start looking at this. There's going to be another bend in the road. Tom Ferry talked about this last time, and I totally agree. Yeah, Kinder Reese talked about it too, because they were high performing agents. They know what's up. And basically, there was a bend in the road in 2008-9. I know because I got caught in that bend, and I won't be the first to admit it because I got racked pretty hard. But anyways, and I was pretty big. Me and my cousin, we just weren't big enough. We were big, because we were making lots and lots and lots of money, but we weren't big enough to suspend it, basically to knock through it. So it's like Grant Cardone talks about, which is true. We were big, we weren't big enough. Anyways, to sustain the blows, a lot of people got rocked because we knew tons of people got rocked. But as a real estate agent or mortgage broker, you got to start looking at the bend in the road that's coming, and you got to start looking at doing the seller carrybacks, doing the foreclosures, making sure your farm's scored away. I saw this agent from Savannah, Georgia. She owns a real estate company, Remax, in Savannah. It was pretty interesting. She had too big in the team concept and into that, but her team did. She's got like 21 people, I think, and they did like 814 transactions last year. She did quite a few. But that was the whole team combined with all her agents and all that. So, yeah, she did pretty hefty volume, I think about $8 million worth. But remember, she owns a real estate office too, so she gets a piece of that action. But one thing she said is that their gold mine is the database. So if you're a real estate agent or mortgage broker, you need to keep on that. If you're an investor, you're a buyer, you're a seller, and you have an agent that does pretty good, and you're on that database, if they're shooting flashes for information, they shoot you like a text, and they have some good informative information on market conditions changing all the time. Make sure that's the agent you want to use because they're flashing the info. So you need to make sure you check into that, keep aware of what's going on. in your area, because some areas are going to get pounded hard. Some areas that are doing really good, well, they're going to get rocked too, even though they have a bunch of multimillionaires roaming around of billionaires. But the problem is the middle class is getting rocked. Here's an example today: T-Mobile. T-Mobile got rocked. They got hacked. I know somebody that went into a T-Mobile store, and T-Mobile's all their systems were down. The other U.S. companies got hacked. So with this war shocks going on with the Russia-Ukraine, stuff is already starting to happen. And also, too, there were a bunch of Russian American, no, actually Russian, Italian, and I guess Spanish, I think, ships are basically in the Mediterranean. So that's not a good sign. So what I'm saying to you is, like the T-Mobile getting hacked and some other U.S. companies getting hacked, they've kind of kept it out of the news. But things like this are going to start happening more and more, and it could really get bad in the next few days. And who knows if the banks could get racked too pretty hard. And this can affect everything, your deals. If you guys are using a big title company or a mortgage company or whatever, I mean, all their systems could get hacked. So just be aware of that. I mean, your phone could get hacked into the whole system and start taking down all these phone networks and taking days to get the stuff. So like in the Norway, they had their line cut from Norway to Europe. I mean, the main part of Europe, and they had their line cut. No one's sure who did it, and that was like a month and a half ago. And that was an act of war too. So I'm saying to you all this stuff, everything, because it can affect everything, because there are a lot of internet people do a lot of business on it. Google get hacked, Yahoo could get hacked, Microsoft networks could get hacked. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying to be cognizant. If you have a deal in escrow, be cognizant. You need to watch that, because if the systems get hacked, it could really throw things out of control. And a lot of the escrow companies nationally, in title companies, everything's run on computers like everywhere else. And so, might have to go, if it gets hacked bad enough, they might have to go old school and do everything without a computer, and that takes extra time. And a lot of probably the limited practice officers, the old school ones, have been doing it 20 plus years, may know what to do. But if you've only been doing it a few years, may not know what to do and by hand, because they've done it by computer for so long. So anyway, these are just things you think about, and that's why I'm throwing all this stuff out there for you guys to consider. In the big picture of everything, kind of what's going on. So, like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of insanity going on right now, and as an investor, buyer, real estate agent, mortgage broker, you need to be looking at all these different things going on right now. And also, too, you better be looking for the bend in the road that's coming down range, and it could happen faster than you think. And, the economy could get crushed in a lot of ways because of a giant war. A regional war could turn out into a European war to all of Europe, and it could expand a lot further than that. So, like I said, I'm just trying to keep you guys heads up, make sure you're watching the news and looking at, different sites that you like to look at, Drudge Report, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, whatever, look at, and just kind of keep track of what's going on for you. And a lot of these sites are, except for, Drudge, but a lot of the other sites are generic news channels, but, should have some information. Look at all the business sites, Fox Business, MSNBC News, business site, Bloomberg. These to look at to kind of keep track. The Times of London business section, New York Times, and LA Times business section. I mean, just so you keep abreast of what's going on. And if you're a real estate agent, you should get Inman News or mortgage broker IN News. Even if you're just investor or seller buyer, you should look at Inman News, IANMAN.com, something for you to look at. So anyways, so just, keep abreast of all the stuff, be prepared for the stuff that's coming, or start thinking about, so you don't get caught. Anyways, if you got any questions or anything, that new loans I was telling you about, the no docs, and the and the Fix It Loan, forecast.com, and get a hold of me, nickforecast.com, or go to Facebook at Nick's Forecast. Anyway, have a good Wednesday, and see you next time.